Hello there, how's it going? Thank you for stopping by. My name is JC and this is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel. If this is your first time here, know that this is a very strange channel where we do cooking and grilling on Tuesdays and DIY stuff on Fridays. How it got there, I'm not 100% sure. But if you click on the title of the channel, you will find multiple dedicated playlists to both DIY subjects as well as cooking recipes. It's a little bit late in the day for me to be drinking. I'm a morning drinker, and when I say morning, usually lunchtime for many of you guys. But today we're going to be cooking with beer, and I found it quite appropriate. We're going to be making an enchilado de camarones or Camarones Enchilados. In the Louisiana, New Orleans area, it's called a shrimp Creole. Pretty much it's the same thing. It's a Spanish Portuguese influenced dish consisting of a garlic tomato sauce and a protein. That protein can be shrimp, crawfish, lobster, fish, and even chicken. Once you master the sauce, the entire universe of recipes opens up and you'll be able to put together a dozen recipes or a dozen different dishes using the same sauce. So what makes this video unique is that the original recipe calls for some kind of dry wine, whether it's vino seco, cooking wine, or even a Cabernet. But the issue with that is that a lot of people get heartburn from the combination of dry wine, tomato, garlic. By using beer, we mitigate a lot of those problems. And I actually find that beer is quite underrated when it comes to cooking. I use it in my paella, and I use it quite often for a lot of different dishes. And before you get triggered, before you go with a thumbs down or start smacking it before trying it, if you like Cuban pizza and you have visited probably the largest chain of Cuban pizza restaurants in the South Florida area, predominant in the Hialeah area, you've had a pizza that has a slight sour note. If you wonder what the secret is, here it is. If you don't believe me, just Google beer pizza dough, try that out, you'll see that I'm right. So if you want to become a master at doing enchilado de camarones, check this out. There are many shrimp Creole recipes on YouTube. Emeril, Paula Deen, and Justin Wilson have some great renditions, but this one is a little bit different. My shrimp Creole recipe is heavily influenced by my Cuban heritage. This is the way the dish is prepared in small mom-and-pop restaurants throughout Miami, where it's called Camarones Enchilados. To make this recipe, you're going to need 1 pound of shrimp. I'm using a relatively small shrimp at about 25 count, but a jumbo 15 count would be much better. We're also going to need 3/4 of an onion, 3/4 of a bell pepper. Tricolor is ideal but not necessary. 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, finely minced. A half a teaspoon of salt, black pepper, cumin, small paprika, and something called pimentón powder. I'm using one from a company called 𝐒𝐴𝐻. This is a small family-owned Cuban business based out of Florida. Their website is 𝐒𝐴𝐻.com. I am not sponsored by them, but they do make a great product. We're also going to need 2 bay leaves, 1 cup of tomato sauce, 1 cup of chopped tomatoes. Everybody knows that I love the fire roasted variety. 2 cups of beer, the cheaper the better. 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 3 to 4 sprigs of parsley, 2 to 3 leaves of culantro. Those last 2 may not sound like very necessary, but trust me, they make a huge impact on the taste profile of the dish. We're also going to need a touch of heat. The original recipe calls for ají guaguao. In the US, in North America, it is also known as gentleman's hot pepper. This is not very easy to get, so I will be using my Sister Bernadette's hot sauce. I'm not really sure what's in it, but man, this stuff is hot. Alright, so let's get cooking. To show you how quick this shrimp Creole is to make, I'm going to start the rice at the same time, and by the time the rice is done, we'll be ready to eat. It is very important that we have everything ready since the steps are only 2 to 3 minutes apart. With the rice on the stove, let's bring some oil up to temperature in a deep saucepan. We're going to saute about 2 cups of onion and peppers. Yes, they are frozen. I grow most of my condiments, and when the plant gives you a dozen peppers a week and you only use 2, the rest has to be frozen for days like this. To this, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sun-dried tomato paste. This is 100% optional, but I think that it gives the recipe a nice touch. And I know I didn't mention it. I know. Cook that for 2 to 3 minutes. As the onions start to get translucent, let's add the dry spices. And as the mixture starts to get dry, let's add the garlic. Cook that for another 2 to 3 minutes. We can then add the tomatoes and stir that in. Followed by the tomato sauce. Continue to stir. Then add the beer. So you know the objective here is to maintain a soft boil by adding the different liquids in stages instead of all at once. We can then add the sugar and get ready to cook the shrimp. Bring some oil and a little bit of butter to temperature on high heat. Go ahead and add the shrimp. You need to keep an eye on this because we are just looking to give the shrimp a little bit of color. As they start to show the little golden edges, we're going to add something else I forgot to mention in the ingredient list, and that is 1/4 cup of rum. I guess this is optional as well, so if you don't have it, no big deal. You may consider adding just a little bit of lemon juice, not too much. Now, if you are using rum, be careful because this may or may not flambe, in other words, catch on fire, but either way, it is okay. I'm gonna cook it for another 30 seconds or so, and then add them to the sauce. We're gonna cook the shrimp in the sauce for about 4 to 5 minutes. As the main part of the body starts to turn pink, we're gonna go ahead and add the parsley and the culantro. I also added some olives, which they weren't great, so once again it's up to you. I think black ones would have been a much better choice. Go ahead and add a touch of hot sauce, stir one last time, take it off the heat and let it stand for 2 to 3 minutes before serving. My friends, this is JC and this is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel where we do cooking and grilling on Tuesdays, DIY stuff on Fridays. I hope to see you on my next video. Please support this channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Thank you.